Isang makasining na pagbati sa inyong lahat. Tulad ng mga punong nagbibigay bunga para sa nangangalaga sa Kanya. Sa pangangalaga ng ating mga sining, tayo ay makakakuha ng lakas upang mapagpatuloy sa makabagong mga hamon. As the primary government agency mandated to promote and protect Philippine arts and culture, the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, NCCA, enjoins everyone in the harvest of the fruits of the Filipino creativity. As we officially open the celebration of the National Arts Month, dubbed as Ani ng Sining, signed in 1991 by the virtue of Presidential Proclamation number 683. It is a month-long celebration of Filipino artistic creations, as well as the Commission's vision of arts as catalysts for values, education, and nationalistic progress. This year's theme, Alab Sining, Alay Sigla, perfectly captures our passionate commitment to reignite our arts and culture sector as we brace towards a hopeful future. Because being an artist isn't just about putting pencil to paper, nor brush to canvas. An artist is an individual that is compelled to create meaningful art and help his peers blossom into better individuals. Your contribution of making the arts accessible to the people, to the grassroots level, is nothing short of commendable. Thank you for your participation in the National Arts Month celebration. Your initiative continue to help us towards cultivating a richer, more fertile ground for our arts. Let us support one another as we enrich the capacities of our artists and cultural workers for the future of the sector and the country. Halina't makisining, mabuhay ang sining at kulturang Pilipino.
Ng taong bayan, aani, 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 aani.
Ang Cinema Rehiyon ay ang flagship program ng National Committee for Cinema o NCC sa taon ng National Arts Month sa tuwing Pebrero. Ngayong 2021, naiiba ang delivery ng Cinema Rehiyon dahil sa pandemicon lockdown na nagbabawal pa rin ng face-to-face na pagtitipon bukod pa sa napakaraming mga bagay at dahil sa nahuling tagubilin na itutuloy ang National Arts Month. Mismong NCC ang umako ng pagpapasimuno at inisyal na gawain para sa pagpapatupad ng Cinema Rehiyon 13. Kinakailangan ilipat ang programa sa purong online platform na nagdulot ng higit na posibilidad na magkaroon ang Cinema Rehiyon ng mas malaking publiko sa buong bansa at maging sa global na manonood. Ito rin ang isa sa Cinema Rehiyon pinakahitik sa bilang ng mga pelikula at filmmakers na kalahok. Matutunghayan pa din ang Best of Regional Cinema sa programa ng Cinema Rehiyon 13 pero nilangkapan din ng napapanahong programa para sa sinema ng kababaihan at LGBTQIA bilang pagkilala sa talino at yaman ng karanasan ng filmmakers ng bansa sa kinakailangan isa sa mahalagang direksyon dapat tahakin ng mga pelikula at diskursong kultural. Matutunghayan din ang mga naging malikaing tugon ng filmmakers ng bansa sa kanilang pagdanas sa pandemiko at lockdown. Libreng mapapanood ang mga pelikula, mayorya sa duration ng kabuuang festival sa online streaming platform. Mahalaga ang Cinema Rehiyon 13 dahil patuloy na tinutuloy nito ang susunod na yugto ng pelikulang regional at Filipino. Sa antas na may pagkilala at pagdanas sa health protocol sa paggawa ng pelikula sa isang banda at sa antas ng bumibigat na kahilingan sa at responsibilidad ng filmmakers sa mga ganitong peligrosong panahong hindi lamang pangkalusugan kundi maging pampolitikal, pang-ekonomiya at panlipunan. Sa pinakamahirap ng panahon ng paglikha ng sining at pelikula, matutunghayan ang mga inisyatiba ng regional filmmakers at cinemas na tupdin ang atas ng oras at lunan ng pagpupursigi para sa pagpapasibol, pagluluwal, pagsisikhay at pagpapayabong. Napakahalaga ng pagpapatuloy ng produksyon ng nakikipagdialogo at nakikipagtunggaling sining sa mga realidad ng bayan, ng bansa at ng mundo dahil mismo ang pang-araw-araw na buhay ng mga manonood, mamamayan at publiko ay babad sa ganitong hindi pangkaraniwang araw-araw. Sa edisyong Cinema Rehiyon 13, ang malas pinagkakaingatan. Tinatanong kung bakit naging gayon, ginagawang maswerte, o nagbubukas ng ibang pagbasa, posibilidad at realidad. Sa napagtagumpayan ng indie cinema, nagbubukas ng poder para sa mga naisantabing tinig at imahe ng nasa laylayan sa mas masaklaw na pagkakataon na tunghayan ang regional bilang kabalikat sa formasyon ng pambansa. Ito ang nagliwal ng diwa at programa ng Cinema Rehiyon noon at ng kanyang pagkaunlad hanggang sa kasalukuyan. At ito rin ang dedikasyon ng NCC at ng iba pang nagmamahal sa pelikulang regional at pambansa na patuloy na ititindig ang tinig at imahe ng laylayan ng regional na titindig para sa mga tinig at imahe ng iba pang pinipipi at pinubulag ng mamamayan at sambayanan. Halinang makisining, halinang makisine. Mabuhay ang pelikulang regional, mabuhay ang pelikulang Pilipino, mabuhay ang Cinema Rehiyon 13.
Cinema Rehiyon redefines itself. It will be an online edition, no geographical and social boundaries. The new version will free Cinema Rehiyon from many limitations. The limitations of labels, the limitations of being defined by Manila, the limitations of genders and traditions. Cinema Rehiyon will be about regions, not as a land of productions, but a site of ideas. Cinema Rehiyon will be about films that define the region but also subvert them. It will be about perspectives. It will focus on creative movements. Cinema Rehiyon will still be about films from the region, but it is a region now redefined according to the spaces created by online engagement. Mobile will be the films and the filmmakers. The physical spaces have become negligible. Geo-blocked no more. What then will be a crucial element that will define regional cinema? More than ever, it is the regional languages that will separate filmmakers from other filmmakers. But these languages will also connect us to each other in the splendor of differences. Cinema Rehiyon goes global. What does this mean? Cinema Rehiyon will now connect to regional film festivals, which are smaller and less commercial in other countries. Cinema Rehiyon goes gender. A new addition to the program of Cinema Rehiyon is the inclusion of films that deal with the issues of LGBTQIA plus and women, issues that, like the regions, are at the margins. The new Cinema Rehiyon recognizes the pandemic, but the said health crisis will not be a limitation, but a point to make cinemas about isolation and quarantine. Enter Eksena, the ECQ cinema. Art is always longer than life. Cinema of all types will survive us all. This Cinema Rehiyon is about our lives and more, of regions that shall compose a nation and nations of genders.
What is the role of independent regional filmmakers during troubling times? This is the premise of the programming for the 13th edition of Cinema Rehiyon. There is a tone of urgency and insistence to this question because the times require them. Through the programs, we intend to survey the vast roles of a visual storyteller, As in a crisis, or to be specific about it, a pandemic, there is an underlying threat to overshadow or suppress creative works and artistic expressions, arguing that these are not basic needs. The more uncertain and confusing the times, though, the more filmmakers should assert themselves. Here are our programs for Cinema Rehiyon 13. Program 1, Longing Forgotten Memories. Without memories, there would be an absence of appreciation. Relationships would not be possible. Emotions would not be as meaningful. Sentimentality non-existent. It is because of memory that stories live long. Program 2, Hear the Island Speak and Be Ready for Anything. Mystical, traditional, and unique stories rooted on the islands. Program 3, The Languages of Isolation. How can we portray isolation or translate it creatively? Should we need to retell heartbreaking stories to help us cope with the recurring pain? The stories provide no singular answer to such questions, but they show one commonality: the need to understand why. Program 4, Dear Depth, Love Awakening. A diversity of stories that are mostly devoid of egos, allowing the discovery of a different self and a new path. Program 5, The Spectre of Empire. The stories and images deal with the afterlife and afterthought, oftentimes confronting, with its own shadow, the ghosts of either a familiar, harrowing, or satisfying past. Program 6, Escaping Questions, Evading Answers. Why do we evade important questions? Why are we not even answering? Do these films lead us to call for action? Do we need the necessity to challenge issues affecting the marginalized? Will this film program push oneself to engage in matters that are oftentimes overlooked and ignored? Program 7, The Clothes We Are Wearing from a Certain Distance. The films reiterate our desires to role-play. The program articulates everyone's obsession to be somebody or something else. Program 8, Welcome to the Age of Precariousness. In an age of uncertainties, will we ever see light at the end of the tunnel? This program shows emptiness and despair, suffering and consequences. Here, nothing is certain. Program 9, Crossroads of Consequences. Decisions, crossfires, consequences, everything is confronted. Program 10, Astro Lumina, a program of genre films, but there's more than just meets the eye. Program 11, Beware the Dusk. What lurks behind the dark corners of your space? Suppress your fears and see if you can last until sunrise. Program 12, Edge of Eclipse. More than experimentation and madness, this program appeals to the curious mind, the free spirit, the inquisitive eye, the out-of-control freak, the unconscious clandestine, the rebellious heart, and everyone else in between. Watch this beyond midnight. Program 13, We Never Say Goodbye to Hope. Dear regional filmmaker, how have you been doing of late? I hope all is well with you and loved ones. I should let you know how much I appreciate you and your film. So allow me to say thank you at the very least. Until then, thank you for never saying goodbye to hope. More than 100 films from around the country, brave, free, diverse. It is my honor to program the best of the regions. My honor to help audiences navigate through the beautiful and distinctive films and voices from the regions. Inspiring, questioning, provoking, informing, titillating, debating, opening minds, revisiting the forgotten. The role of filmmakers is vital. The role of stories has never been this significant. Never has a filmmaker's role been this most vital than now. Mabuhay ang mga regional filmmakers.
Magandang araw, ako po si Adjani Arumpang, and I am deeply honored to be invited to program the 13th Cinema Rehiyon flagship program on women and LGBTQIA+. In the wake of a pandemic, 13 turns out to be an auspicious number. Right after the perfect number 12, used to measure hours in a day or months in a year, 13 portends the unknown and untrodden. A fitting coincidence as, on its 13th year, Cinema Rehiyon both transitions to the virtual screening platform for the first time and introduces a new program on gender. Why gender and why now? Gender and sexuality are categories of knowing often located in the personal realm. But social distancing and virtual life vis-a-vis online learning and work from home are slowly erasing familiar boundaries. The real external world is in collision with our holy spaces, and we respond to this encroachment brought by the pandemic with the necessary interrogation of the private. Lockdown? How can we imagine possibilities for action? Through an expansive review of gender in connection with the regions, the 2021 Cinema Rehiyon Babayi Babaylan flagship program opens up 6 normative categories for investigation: Muslima, Me Too, Babayi, Babaylan, Les Love Rising, and Boys Love Redux. It endeavors to re-articulate identities whose complexities have been obscured by cultural, historical, and social forces, by way of a non-binary reorientation narrated through the rich language of our diverse regional cinema. Babayi Babaylan asserts the fluidity of identity in a country steeped in patriarchy, poverty, and religious politics, ceaselessly flowing and moving on, wherein when civil liberties and basic human rights are withheld and silenced. May we find lessons of love and bravery in this program to finally empower us.
Aani, 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 ani ng sining ng taong bayan.
Mabuhay! Ako po si Catriona Gray, ang inyong Arts Ambassador at Miss Universe 2018. This February, we are celebrating the much-awaited National Arts Month, a culmination of Filipino artistic creations that inspired our nation from the year before and the start of cultivating new inspirations for the next. Mahalaga ang sining at kultura ng ating bansa dahil ito'y nagbibigay buhay sa ating diwa at identidad bilang mga Pilipino. At bilang inyong Arts Ambassador, inaanyayahan ko po kayong makiisa sa pagpapatuloy nito sa pamamagitan ng pagdiriwang ng National Arts Month o Ani ng Sining. Sama-sama nating tuklasin at ipagdiwang ang kagalingan sa sining ng Pilipino sa mga kaabang-abang na mga programa. Cinema Rehiyon 13 ng National Committee on Cinema sa pangunguna ni Dr. Rolando Tolentino. Nagpapasalamat ako sa inyong patuloy na supporter at pagkikiisa sa pagdiriwang ng National Arts Month 2021. Sama-sama tayong mag-alab ng inspirasyon at sigla. Halina't magisining!
Ani ng sining ng taong bayan. Aani, 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 aani.